You won't believe what's possible today. Do you know what's happening? Dire wolves, they aren't creatures from 500 or 1,000 years ago. They literally went extinct 10,000 years ago. Back then, they roamed around North America. In fact, you've probably seen them in many movies. You might remember the series Game of Thrones, right? In that, you saw dire wolves. Of course, that was all VFX. In that series, every Stark kid is gifted a dire wolf puppy. Similarly, we saw them in Twilight, The Witcher, and in Dungeons & Dragons. Again, all through VFX. But today, our scientists have actually brought back dire wolves. Not only have they been brought back, but 3 dire wolves are currently growing in a very highly monitored and secret undisclosed location somewhere in America. Monitored with drones and cameras. Now this might seem simple to you, but the species of dire wolves that have come back can grow up to 7 feet long and 3.5 feet tall. To give you context, a regular gray wolf weighs about 35-40 kilograms. These dire wolves weigh around 80 kilograms. So these massive wolves are about to return to our world, and the company that brought them back, it's called Colossal Biosciences. And they're not stopping here. They're planning to bring back woolly mammoths next. The elephants we know today are about 10 feet tall. These mammoths, which lived during the Ice Age about 50,000, 70,000 years ago, start at 10 feet. Their tusks alone are 15, 20 feet long. Just imagine. All of these are being brought back again thanks to this company. They're also working to bring back the Tasmanian tiger, which went extinct in 1930. They may even revive the dodo bird. And if they keep going like this, I already know their end game, the dinosaur. We've seen science fiction movies, the ones by Steven Spielberg. We stood on the other side of the screen and enjoyed the fiction. But today, that fiction is turning into reality before our eyes. In those movies there was a park, right? Same here, a 2,000-acre park. In the movie, the dangerous dinosaur T-Rex is genetically created by scientists. That's exactly what's happening here. Scientifically speaking, let's discuss what's actually happening. The technology behind it is called CRISPR, just like in the movie, where everything is monitored and kept safe. But one small mistake leads to chaos. Of course, we hope that doesn't happen in real life. Even Elon Musk tweeted about it. He directly asked the company, "I don't want a full-sized one, but can you modify and give me a smaller version?" Just like how we go to a shop and get custom orders, he's asking, "I want a dire wolf, but not 7 feet. Give me one that's about 3-4 feet. So this whole topic is super interesting. And from my side, I bring you a video like this every single day, without missing a day, covering local, international current affairs along with such fascinating topics. So, if you're new here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button below. Done? Good. Now, to explain the return of dire wolves, we must talk about this company. What exactly is Colossal Biosciences? What's their sketch, their plan, their vision for the future? Recently, a podcast was hosted by Joe Rogan, where a representative of Colossal Biosciences came. He is their CEO. His name is Ben Lamb. According to him, to recreate these dire wolves, what they needed was DNA. With the scientific data we have today, we can understand. Regular gray wolves, the ones we know, weigh about 30-35 kilograms and are gray in color. You know what a wolf is. For years now, they've worked hard not just to admire dire wolves in movies, but to bring them back to life. Eventually, they found 2 DNA samples. One was from a skull found 72,000 years ago. To give context, we are now in the Common Era. Go back 400 years, and you're in the Maratha era, Shivaji Maharaj's time. Go back to around 900 CE, and you're in South India during Raja Raja Chola's reign. According to ancient texts, the Mahabharata war happened 5,000 years ago. But the point I'm talking about is from 72,000 years ago, during the Ice Age. The skull they found from that time had deep-time DNA, and 12,000 years ago a tooth was found, better preserved. To put it simply, there's a technology called CRISPR, introduced in 2010. Imagine Photoshop for DNA, that's what CRISPR is. I'm explaining this in simple terms so everyone can understand. You can say, I want this part of DNA, remove that part, insert this part. For example, we currently have gray wolves. The DNA of gray wolves and dire wolves is a 99.5% match. But that 0.5% difference makes all the difference. The white color, the large size, the muscular build. So what did they do? They took 100% of the gray wolf DNA and, using CRISPR, just like Photoshop, replaced that 0.5% using samples from the tooth and skull of dire wolves. Then they created an embryo. You know what surrogate parenting is, right? Like how we transfer embryos to another womb. And since we know a lot about dog breeding, they took a very strong dog and implanted this embryo into her. That resulted in the birth of 3 pups. If we talk sentimentally, they're like siblings. The first 2 were born as twins, Romulus and Remus. They were born in October and are super cute. You can even hear them howl. Both are male. 2 months after their birth, a female pup was born on January 1st, 2025. They named her Khaleesi, inspired by the Dothraki tribe from Game of Thrones. Does that ring a bell? That's one of the main characters, Daenerys Targaryen. You might have heard of George R.R. Martin, the author of the Game of Thrones books. He is also one of the investors in this company, Colossal Biosciences, and if we look at the names, Romulus and Remus are from Roman mythology, twins raised by a wolf, who later went on to build Rome. According to the myth, they even fought, and one of them dies. Anyway, that's for a different video. The point I wanted to share is this. All 3 pups have now been taken to that 2,000-acre secret location where they're being raised. In fact, when they were first born, the public wasn't even informed. The reason I'm making this video now is, just last week, they finally announced the existence of these 3 pups. They released videos saying, "We've brought back extinct animals and they're growing up healthy and strong." Those videos were released this past week, just about 3 days ago. The main point I wanted to say is, they took these 3 and started raising them at that secret location spread over 2,000 acres. In fact, even when they were born, the public wasn't informed. So why am I making this video now? Just last week they started telling people about these 3. They began releasing those videos. Look, we've brought back already extinct animals and they're growing very strong, healthy, and happy. They recently released those videos to the public just 3 days ago. After hearing all this, many questions naturally arise in our minds. Let's address all of them one by one. Question 1. Why did animals like dire wolves, mammoths, or even dinosaurs become extinct in the first place? The answer is very simple. Since Earth was formed, there have been 5 billion species. Today, 99.5% of those species no longer exist. They've all gone extinct. The answer to why is 2 words: natural selection. Evolution is extremely strict. It doesn't work on mercy or sympathy. We've passed through many ages, Ice Age, Stone Age, etc., but from our current time frame, for the past thousands of years, it might feel like the Earth hasn't changed much. You might wonder, the world hasn't changed in the last 2,000 years or even 5,000, right? But if you look from a broader perspective, from the Big Bang Theory's viewpoint, climate, temperature, and other conditions on Earth keep changing over time. Only the species that could adapt to those changes survived. Those that couldn't adapt to even small bodily changes eventually went extinct, and sometimes survival doesn't depend on size or loudness. Traits can be very simplistic. For example, when the meteor hit Earth, many different types of dinosaurs existed: vegetarian, non-vegetarian, tall, short, flying ones, etc. But when that meteor struck, they didn't know where to go. They couldn't withstand the temperatures. Within decades, they vanished. But cockroaches survived. They hid in small holes wherever they could. That's why they lived. During evolution, the only skill that mattered was, can you hide in a crevice and survive? Dinosaurs couldn't. Cockroaches could. To put it simply, humans came relatively recently, but cockroaches were here before dinosaurs, after dinosaurs, and even while humans exist today. They survived asteroids, volcanoes, and even ice ages. That's why cockroaches deserve a salute for survival. Similarly, during the Ice Age, climate was changing. Regular wolves, gray wolves, weighed only 30 to 35 kilograms and were adopted by humans. But dire wolves couldn't adapt, so they perished, just like the dinosaurs. But now, thanks to a scientific miracle, they're coming back. Naturally, though, they were gone for good back then. Now comes the second set of questions. Alright, we get how they went extinct. But what did they do when they were alive? How did they live? Since they've returned to our world today, you might be curious. Let me give you a small perspective. You know the concept of predator and prey, right? The ones who hunt are predators. The ones who get hunted are prey. The prey animals back then were very majestic. Not like today's wolves. The mammoths and bison that are being revived now, think of them like an Ultra Pro Max version of today's elephants. And the ones hunting them weren't fast, sprinting types like wolves, but muscular, bulked-up versions of wolves. They were incredibly strong, weighing 70-80 kilograms. Look at their photos. They look majestic. Right now, they haven't yet grown that big genetically, but the scientists claim they will. They say they'll grow to a minimum of 7 feet tall, with a height of around 3.5 feet at the shoulders. Even when they hunted and ate prey, they wouldn't leave bones behind. Their teeth were so strong that they'd crush and eat the bones too. Maybe due to their weight or their size, they never crossed into Europe, Asia, or Africa from North America. And since their brain was also large, they were intelligent. These wolf packs were very smart and hunted with strategy, say scientists. Now let's move to the next burning question. Let's return to the present. Where are these 3 babies growing up? What do we know about that 2,000-acre facility? Listen carefully. It's in the USA, but nobody knows about it. In fact, the CEO of the company mentioned it during a podcast with Joe Rogan. He talked about India too. He said, "We have 2,000 acres, just like in Gujarat, India. It's massive." That place is said to be the largest private facility of its kind. The fencing is about 10 feet high. They designed the facility to mimic nature as closely as possible, because they want these animals to grow like real dire wolves. They're trying to recreate the same kind of environment that dire wolves once lived in. There are around 10 animal care professionals working 24/7 to monitor them. These are trained vets. Even the smallest health issue must be avoided, because only 3 of these animals exist. To truly develop them, they need this level of care. But in America, to set up a facility like this, you have to go through animal rights activists, human rights societies, and strict regulations. So, this facility is USDA approved. They claim to meet all animal welfare standards and even obtained certification from the American Humane Society. They continuously use drones, CCTV footage, and regular cameras, almost like a big boss type setup. Only difference is, these 3 are constantly under surveillance. The female pup is only 2 or 3 months old. The 2 males are about 5 to 6 months old. In fact, you can see their size growth in just 6 months. Compared to regular gray wolves, these already look far more majestic. They're going to grow even bigger and stronger, says the CEO. He says they're in perfect health. Now, let's look at the other side of the coin, because I always try to present both sides in every video. Some activists, especially conservative thinkers, say, "You're using fossil DNA of dire wolves, gray wolves, and CRISPR technology to create such animals. What if what happened in Jurassic Park happens again? Who will take responsibility? These animals never lived among humans. Back then, you built a 10-foot fence. Today, there are just 3 of them. But tomorrow morning, around 100 of them will enter the mainstream of life." Questions are arising like, isn't this a danger to humans? This is all related to genetic engineering, which is a very recent development. We're still taking baby steps in this. It's not even been 30 years properly. Let's say around 35 years. The first ever genetically engineered animal came around 1990, Dolly the sheep. Actually, not 1990, I think it was 1996, so it's been about 29 years. Many developments came before CRISPR and after CRISPR, but most of these animals face issues like premature aging, organ failure, and not living full healthy lives. These things have kept happening. So what makes you think things will be different now? How can you say with certainty that we can bring them back 100% successfully? Another major question people are asking is, by going beyond natural selection and reviving animals that nature has already phased out, aren't we acting against nature? Historically, whenever humans have acted against nature, we've seen natural disasters follow. People are saying nature won't tolerate this and there could be dangers ahead. But scientists are all responding with the same answer. Species are going extinct because of how we've acted against nature. In fact, by 2050, 99% of species may go extinct. Maybe even 100%. If we don't take proactive steps, search for our own answers, and bring back those animals, the ecosystem will collapse. It is precisely by doing this that we can save nature, by restoring various life forms on Earth. They're saying, adapt to science. So, I'm asking you just one question. What do you think? Are you on this side of the line or the other? Do you think this is dangerous? And also, they're not planning to stop here, right? Like I said, these people want to bring back mammoths, giant elephants, even tigers that went extinct in the 1930s. One step at a time, they're going backward. And soon they might even try to bring back dinosaurs. People like Elon Musk are celebrating this, placing customized orders. Imagine the rich customizing animals and keeping them in their homes. How right or wrong is that? Is this truly a part of science? Do the scientists have a point? Do you believe that only by bringing back species can we restore balance to Earth? What do you feel? If you've made it this far into my video, I believe my content is really engaging you. That's why I'm saying this. Since you're giving me your watch time and attention, I want to make sure you don't miss even a second of my videos. That's my strength. You are my inspiration. For those who are new and have stayed till this point, I post one video every day from my side. So don't miss out. Hit that subscribe button below. Subscribed? Done? Done. I'll see you again tomorrow. Let us all grow together. Let us all rise together. Rise above ignorance, rise above arrogance, rise above hate.